Let's get one thing straight. Kindness is strength, but over-friendliness, that's desperation in disguise. You weren't born to be everyone's emotional pillow. You weren't made to lower your tone, shrink your power, or soften your fire, just to be liked. They told you be sweet, be approachable, smile more. But what they really meant was be easier to manipulate. And you believed them. You gave your time, your energy, your access to people who didn't earn it. To people who saw your friendliness as a green light to take advantage. It's time to wake up. You've been taught since you were little, be nice, be polite, be friendly. And sure, that's a part of being human. But let's not get it twisted. In the real world, people don't respect you because you smile. They respect you because you set boundaries. You could smile all day and still be disrespected. Why? Because a smile without a line, without a limit, is an open invitation to be walked on. Kindness without courage is weakness in disguise. It's not the softness in your voice that earns respect. It's the strength in your no. Think about it. You've been in that situation before. At work, maybe. A colleague keeps dumping their work on you because you're just so helpful. You smiled, didn't you? Said yes. Again. While they went home early, you stayed late, exhausted, underappreciated, not because you weren't capable, but because you didn't draw the line. Now here's the truth they never told you. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They don't keep the world out, they let the right people in. You teach people how to treat you, not through your charm, but through your standards. Ever notice how someone treats the rude boss with more respect than the nice coworker? That's because that boss has boundaries. He doesn't care if you like him. He cares that you understand his limits. And whether people agree with him or not, they respect him. Because he doesn't bend. Let's talk relationships. You keep giving your time, your heart, your energy to someone who only hits you up when they're bored. You don't want to seem harsh. You want to be cool. So you keep responding, even when it hurts. But here's what happens. The more available you are, the more they take you for granted. You think your friendliness will change them. It won't. Your absence will. Pull back and watch how loud your silence becomes. In family too, you've got that one relative, maybe it's your sibling or a cousin. They always borrow money, always need a favor, always expect you to come through. And you do every time because they're family. But now, they don't ask. They demand, not because you were wrong to help, but because you never said, this is the last time. You never enforced a boundary. So now, your kindness is seen as weakness. And that hurts, doesn't it? Not because they changed, but because you never drew a line they couldn't cross. Even in friendships, that one friend who calls you only when they need something, you pick up, you always pick up, you listen, you care, you give advice. But when it's your turn to speak, it's silence. You tell yourself, it's okay, I'm the strong one. No, you're the one without boundaries. And that's not noble. That's neglecting your own soul. Understand this. Being too nice is not a virtue when it's eating away at your value. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you are disrespecting yourself and teaching others to do the same. You are not selfish for protecting your peace. You are not rude for saying, I don't like that. You are not cold for walking away from disrespect. That is self-respect with a spine. The real ones will never leave because of your boundaries. Only the ones who were benefiting from your lack of them will. And when they do, don't feel bad. Feel free. Because you're no longer dimming your light to fit into their shadow. You're finally standing tall, choosing you, not with anger, not with attitude, but with quiet, unshakable grace. People don't respect the one who bends the most. They respect the one who stands the tallest. Even if they stand alone. Not because they're liked, but because they're clear. Because they have standards. Because they have boundaries. Don't even believe in. It's not your personality. It's a mask. A shield. A silent scream that says, please accept me. Please don't leave me. Think about the last time you stayed in a conversation you didn't want to be in. They crossed a line. Maybe they made an offensive joke or invaded your space. But you laughed it off. Why? Because standing up for yourself felt more dangerous than disrespect. You were afraid that if you called it out, they'd get upset, they'd walk away, they'd label you difficult. So instead, you chose to be nice. But let's be honest, that wasn't niceness. That was fear holding your tongue. At work, maybe your boss piled on tasks that weren't in your job description. But you didn't speak up. You said, sure, I got it. Not because you had time. Not because you agreed, but because you were afraid. Afraid of being called uncooperative. Afraid of losing opportunities. So you smiled through the pressure, through the burnout. Over-friendliness looked professional, but really, it was fear of not being enough, even in your love life. How many times have you stayed quiet when your partner ignored your needs, just so you wouldn't seem needy? How many times did you say, it's fine, when your heart was screaming, no, it's not? You weren't being chill, you weren't being mature, you were scared. Scared they'd leave, scared you'd be alone. So you gave more, tolerated more, forgave more than anyone ever should. And still, it didn't make them love you more, it just made them respect you less. With friends, it happens too. You go along with plans you hate, hang out when you're drained, laugh at jokes that sting, just to keep the peace. You don't want to be seen as moody or too sensitive. So you bend. But here's what nobody tells you. Bending too much breaks your spirit. You weren't born to shrink. You weren't made to please everyone. You were made to stand in your truth, even if your voice shakes. Fear is a master manipulator. It whispers lies like, they'll hate you if you say no, or you won't belong if you speak your truth, and you believe it, so you perform. You become the agreeable girl, the funny friend, the loyal employee, the accommodating lover, and slowly you disappear. Your wants, your boundaries, your self-respect erased. All for what? Temporary approval? Let me tell you something real. Anyone who only likes you when you're agreeable isn't liking you. They're liking the version of you that's too scared to say, I matter too. And that version, that over-friendly, over-palatable, over-apologetic version, that's not your highest self. That's your scared self. Trying to survive in a world that taught you love must be earned by erasing who you are. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers no after years of saying yes. Sometimes it shows up as silence instead of sugar-coated words. Sometimes it means standing your ground when your knees are shaking. And sometimes it looks like walking away from what's comfortable because you refuse to keep betraying yourself. You don't need to be everyone's favorite. You don't need to be the sunshine in every room. You just need to be real. And if that makes someone uncomfortable, Good. That means your authenticity is louder than your fear. And that's the first step to freedom. You don't have to say a word. Your vibe speaks before you do. The way you walk into a room, the way you hold your eye contact, the way you sit with yourself in silence, it all tells a story. And people, they listen, they read you, they measure you, not by what you say, but by what you tolerate. Not by your words, but by your energy. Your vibe is your unspoken language, and it tells them exactly how to treat you. Have you ever walked into a meeting and instantly known who the leader was without them saying a single sentence? That's not just confidence. That's a vibe. It's presence. It's an inner knowing that says, I know who I am, and I don't need your approval to be it. And the room responds. Not because they were told to respect them, but because their energy demanded it. Now think about your daily life. You meet someone new, and they interrupt you constantly while you speak. You laugh it off, smile, try to stay polite. In that moment, your vibe tells them, it's okay to dismiss me. But what if you simply paused, locked eyes, and said with calm certainty, I wasn't finished. That energy, that changes everything. They may not like it, but they will respect it. People treat you how you treat yourself in front of them. If you lower your standards to be liked, your vibe tells them, you can cross my boundaries. I'll just adjust. If you constantly apologize for existing, for feeling, for asking, your vibe says, I don't believe I'm worthy. And guess what? They believe you. They take you at your frequency, not your words. In relationships, this hits hard. You're with someone who barely puts in effort. They disappear, they come back, they act hot and cold, and every time you welcome them with open arms. You say, I just want peace, I don't want drama. But that's not peace. That's fear dressed as patience. And your vibe, it's screaming, I'll accept crumbs as long as I feel chosen. But you deserve the whole table. You deserve effort. But they won't give it to you. Not unless your energy demands it. It's the same with friends. You're always the one adjusting your schedule, saying yes when you're tired, go along with whatever they want. And then they forget your birthday, cancel on you, or ghost you when they find someone more fun. And you wonder why. It's because your vibe told them, you don't need to prioritize me. I'll be here anyway. Change that. Stop begging with your energy. Start walking in the frequency of I know my worth and I don't chase. Even strangers pick up on it. You ever seen someone get talked down to in public while another person right next to them gets treated with courtesy and caution? That's not about how they look. That's about their vibe. One walks in apologetically, the other walks in like they belong. That invisible force, it's not arrogance. It's alignment. It's the refusal to shrink. It's energy that says, treat me how I treat me. With care. With class. With value. Here's the hard truth. Your vibe is not just attracting people, it's attracting treatment. You're either radiating, I honor myself, or I am afraid to upset you. And whichever frequency you're on, people will mirror it. So if you're constantly being disrespected, overlooked, or underestimated, check your energy. Not your tone, not your words, your presence. You don't have to raise your voice to raise your standards. You don't need to fight to be seen. You need to carry yourself like someone who won't settle. and the world adjusts. Because when your vibe says, I don't beg, I don't chase, and I don't shrink, the wrong people leave, the right ones align, and the treatment you attract transforms from tolerance to reverence. There's a brutal truth no one likes to hear. Being too available kills your value. Not because kindness is weakness, not because giving is wrong, but because when something is always there, people forget to treasure it. Human nature is wired to chase, to desire, to earn. The moment something becomes too easy, it loses its spark, its mystery, its magnetism. And that something might be you. You text back in seconds, rearrange your entire day just to see them. Drop everything to prove your loyalty. You think you're showing love, support, commitment, but to them, it's just noise. It's background music. It's a guarantee they no longer need to fight for. They stop appreciating you not because you're not valuable, but because you made yourself too accessible, too predictable, too constant. Think of luxury, think of diamonds, think of the rarest things in the world. They're not everywhere. And that's why they're treasured. Scarcity creates value, not because the object changes, but because the effort to access it changes. That's how your energy should be. Not given to everyone, not always on standby. Because when you're always saying yes, even to people who never earn it, you're silently saying, my time, my presence, my soul, it's free, and nothing free is ever truly respected. Let's take it to the workplace. You're the one who's always covering shifts, staying late, saying yes to every task. At first, you're the hero. They praise you. But over time, that praise turns into expectation. They don't even say thank you anymore. You're no longer the go-to. You're the default. And if you say no just once, it's unreliable. Why? Because you train them to think your time has no boundaries. In friendships, it's the same story. You're the one always initiating plans, always checking in, always available. You think, I'm being a good friend. But the calls start slowing down, they cancel last minute, they make you wait. Not because they don't care, but because they know you'll always be there. There's no urgency, no excitement, no effort. You've become the safety net they use, not the soul they value. Even in romantic relationships, this is deadly. You respond to every message instantly. You clear your weekend just to be with them. You show up with all your emotions, all your loyalty, all your attention. Too soon, too much, too fast. And then suddenly they pull back. You're confused. What did I do wrong? You gave too much of you before they gave enough of them. And now they feel no need to chase, no need to impress, no need to grow, because you made yourself emotionally available before they earned your vulnerability. This doesn't mean you should play games. It means you should know your worth so deeply that you protect your energy like royalty. You are not a vending machine. You are not a 24/7 convenience store. You are not meant to be consumed at their convenience. You are meant to be discovered, respected, earned. Anything that's easily handed out loses the power it once had. Have you ever noticed how people show up stronger when they fear they might lose you? When you stop initiating, they suddenly remember you exist. When you become silent, your absence echoes louder than your presence ever did. That's not manipulation. That's clarity. It shows who values you for you and who only valued your availability. Your time is your currency. Your energy is your luxury. Your presence is your gift. Don't cheapen it by handing it to everyone. You are not here to be convenient. You are here to be extraordinary. If they can't make time, they don't deserve yours. If they don't match your energy, you don't lower yours. You are not hard to love. You've just been too easy to access. Protect your energy like royalty, not like someone hoping to be liked, but like someone who knows they are the throne others must rise to. You don't see a queen explaining why her doors aren't always open. You don't. And why is this? Because I can tell you about dreams and possibilities and ways to get there. See a king apologizing for who isn't allowed into his palace. Your energy is your palace, your sacred space. And if anyone wants access, they must come with clean hands and real intentions. In life, too many people give out their energy like free samples in a mall, hoping someone will stop, notice, and validate their worth. But when you give pieces of yourself to everyone who asks, guess what's left for you? Nothing but exhaustion. Burnout isn't just physical, it's emotional. And most of the time, it's not caused by what you do, but by who you keep around. People drain you. People dilute you. And if you don't protect your energy, they'll feed off it until you forget who you were before they showed up. Take a look at your daily life. You wake up, and the first thing you do is open your phone, scrolling, comparing, absorbing noise that's not yours. Your peace is gone before your feet even touch the floor. Why? Because you didn't guard your mind, and the world slipped right in. You didn't protect your energy, and the day stole it before it even began. At work, you're constantly pulled into drama that has nothing to do with you. You let colleagues dump their negativity on you because you don't want to seem cold. But here's the truth. You're not a therapist. You're not a trash bin for emotional baggage. If people come to you only to unload, not uplift, that's not connection, it's extraction. And you must start asking, does this conversation feed my soul or deplete it? Because energy protection isn't rudeness, it's survival. Let's talk relationships, romantic or otherwise. Some people only call you when they need something. Some only show up when it's convenient. And yet, you keep answering, you keep giving, you keep hoping they'll one day treat you the way you treat them. But love isn't about being available 24/7. Love is mutual investment. If your presence is always taken for granted, maybe it's time you made your absence felt. Protecting your energy means cutting access, not cutting love. You can love people and still say, not today. I need me right now. Even in families where boundaries are hardest, it's essential. Just because someone shares your blood doesn't mean they own your peace. You're allowed to say, I won't discuss this right now, or I'm not the person you can disrespect and expect support from. That's not rebellion, it's royalty. The same way a palace has guards and gates, you need boundaries and standards. Imagine your energy as a golden crown. Would you hand it to someone who mocks you, who only shows up when it shines but disappears when you fall? No, you'd keep it polished, protected, sacred. That's how your aura should be. Not everyone deserves your vulnerability. Not everyone deserves your trust. And if they haven't shown up with consistency, respect, and effort, why should they be allowed into the kingdom of your spirit? Look at your role models. The truly powerful ones don't chase, don't beg, don't over-explain. Their silence is louder than noise. Their presence demands attention. Why? Because their energy is protected like treasure. It's felt, not forced. Admired, not handed out. And that's the level you must walk in. Not just to be admired by others, but to truly honor yourself. You are not here to heal everyone. You are not here to be everyone's answer. You're here to glow, grow, and go where your energy is matched, not drained. And that starts the moment you stop apologizing for who gets access. And start guarding your spirit like it's the kingdom it truly is. If they get too comfortable, they'll forget your worth. That's not bitterness, that's reality. People are wired to stop valuing what they assume will always be there. The more accessible you are, the less they look at you as rare. The more you bend over backwards, the less they believe you even have a backbone. And the moment they start thinking your presence is guaranteed, they start treating it like background noise. There, but no longer worth turning up the volume for. It starts subtly. You forgive the late replies, the broken promises, the lack of effort. You tell yourself, it's okay, they're busy. You make excuses for their inconsistency because you hope your loyalty will make them see your value. But it won't. Because when someone doesn't have to earn you anymore, they stop trying to deserve you. You become a habit, not a treasure. A convenience, not a commitment. Look at relationships. In the beginning, they show up, they text good morning, they plan dates, they ask about your dreams. But then slowly they stop, not because you changed, but because you stopped being a challenge. They knew you'd say yes. They knew you'd be there no matter what. They got comfortable. And when comfort replaces curiosity, attention dies. Romance fades. Respect slips. They start treating you like furniture. Something that's always there, always silent, always supportive. But you were never meant to be furniture, you were meant to be fire. Even in friendships, it's the same game. You're the one who remembers their birthday, shows up in their darkest hour, cheers the loudest in their wins. But when it's your turn to fall apart, silence, crickets, ghosts. Why? Because they got used to your strength. They assumed you don't need what you so freely give. They took your consistency and labeled it as obligation. Not out of malice, but out of comfort. They got too used to your sunshine and forgot that even the sun can burn out. At work, think about how many times you've gone above and beyond. Stayed late, took on extra projects, fixed what others broke. At first they clapped, now they expect it. And the moment you stop, they act like you failed them. You didn't fail. You just stopped being the silent superhero. You taught them to normalize your excellence. And once something is normalized, it's no longer admired, it's expected. That's why you must teach people how to respect your presence before they forget how to feel it. Your worth is not in how often you say yes. Your worth is in the boundaries you build. When people know you'll never leave, they stop treating you like you could. When they believe you'll always understand, they stop trying to explain. And when they get too comfortable, they no longer feel the urgency to impress you, to grow with you, to show up for you. Why do we feel the need to prove our worth and failure? Because of some urgency? That's why you must tell them the truth. They know they can't understand. They don't want to know your viewpoint. You can't trust. You have to feel the very fabric. They don't want to know your viewpoint. Comfort without effort breeds entitlement. And entitlement kills appreciation. You have to be willing to pull away, not to punish, but to remind them that access to you is a privilege, not a guarantee. That your loyalty is sacred, not something to be stepped over like a welcome mat. That your heart is not a hotel room with lights always on for guests who never pay for the stay. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is go quiet, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Let your absence echo louder than your presence ever could. Because when people feel the cost of losing you, they'll finally remember the value of having you. You were never too much. You were just too constant for those who only understand chaos. And now it's time to let them earn the version of you they once took for granted. They say when a woman knows her worth, she becomes unreachable to the unworthy. That's not arrogance. That's awareness. And in this life, awareness is your ultimate power. Because the moment you understand your value, you stop begging for crumbs when you were born to feast like royalty. You stop over-explaining to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. And most importantly, you stop setting yourself on fire to keep people warm who wouldn't even light a candle for you. Yokati kami purachi puje pue. You stop over-explaining to people who were born to feast like royalty. That's why we've chosen this path to put you, the wall knows you well. Selisandi botim, you stop the bleeding. Look around you. This world rewards confidence, not convenience. It respects silence when it's rooted in self-worth, not fear. And those who shine aren't always the loudest in the room, but the most aligned with their truth. You don't have to become hard to be powerful. You don't have to be cold to be respected. But you do have to be clear. Clear about who you are. Clear about what you allow. And crystal clear about who gets access to you. You want to be unforgettable? Be rare. Be bold. Be the woman who walks into a room and doesn't need to announce her worth because the room already feels it. Be the man who doesn't chase approval because his energy already speaks volumes. Stop performing for love. Stop bending for attention. Because every time you shrink yourself to fit someone's comfort zone, you abandon your own greatness. And trust me, the world doesn't need a diluted version of you. It needs you undiluted, unapologetic, and unavailable to nonsense. There will always be people who don't get you. Let them. There will always be people who walk away. Hold the door. But never ever let that shake your foundation. And the right people, they won't need convincing. They won't question your silence. They won't make you prove your worth over and over again. They'll see you, feel you, respect you, even in your absence. Because they understand what it means to be in the presence of someone who knows who they are. When you're not afraid to walk away, you become the one they're afraid to lose. When your boundaries are firm, your aura becomes unforgettable. When you stop explaining your standards, the room learns to rise or leave. Never let loyalty become slavery. Never let love become self-sacrifice. If you have to lose your peace to keep someone, that's not love. That's emotional debt. And you don't owe anyone that. Some of the most iconic names in history weren't the loudest, they were the clearest. Cleopatra didn't beg to be adored. She simply refused to be ordinary. Steve Jobs didn't fit in, he built his own lane. Priyanka didn't apologize for her ambition. She made the world adapt to her vision. And you, yes you have the same fire. But that fire will die if you keep handing it to people who only come close to feel your warmth, but never bring their own flame. Don't water yourself down so people can digest you. Let them choke on your brilliance if they must. You were not born to be liked by everyone. You were born to lead, to stand out, to set standards, not settle for them. There is power in knowing your worth, power in walking away, power in saying no. And when you stop giving easy access to your time, your energy, your heart, you'll see the world shift around you. Not because it changed, but because you finally did. And remember this, diamonds don't beg to be noticed. They shine regardless of who's looking. And when they're hidden too long, the world forgets what rare truly looks like until it returns. So now walk like you own your story. Speak like your voice was carved in purpose, and glow like the universe poured its strength into your soul, because it did. And now it's your turn to rise, not for them to love you,